Thank you for joining us for another MissouriTimes.com video highlighting the hashtag MoLeg postseason. The Royals just lost Game 3 of this series, making the series 2-1 in favor of the Houston Astros. While Senator Eric Schmidt is the Missouri Times Cardinals correspondent, Representative Lauren Arthur and Senator Jason Holsman are the legislator correspondents for the Royals. Joining me remotely for the post-game recap and series outlook is Senator Holsman. Thank you very much for joining me today, Senator Holsman. I know you saw the end of today's game. Welcome back to Missouri. What are your impressions of today and what's going on?
Well, I'm glad to join you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about the Kansas City Royals. Very proud of the team's performance this year. This entire season has been a great run. I know the last couple games we'd like to have turned out a little differently, but we're still in it and we still have a chance to get to the next round, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow's action.
Okay, you talked about tomorrow's action. Was today just a bad day for sports in Kansas City? Was it a fluke? What caused it?
You're going to have days like this. I mean, any given Sunday, looked like the Chiefs were going to win, but they couldn't hold on. And the Royals were facing arguably the Cy Young of the American League in Dallas Keuchel. And I think that it was a tough order for them to go out there in Houston and win that first game, but they gave it a good shot. They were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and facing a talent like Keuchel, you're just not going to win if you don't hit with the men on base.
Right. And so today, Moose emerged as a star again. He was a big star last year. Who else should we be watching to make a big impact for the Royals this postseason?
Well, Lorenzo Cain hit a home run today. I think that Hosmer is well overdue. You're going to see Hosmer get up with some men on base. And then, of course, Ben Zobrist has had a great series. He was a fantastic pickup for us at the trade deadline. And if we just play our baseball and we can go just a little better than 0 for 7 with men on, we're going to have a better chance tomorrow. And I think we will win tomorrow. And I think we'll force Game 5 in Kansas City. And I think we're all looking forward to playing that here.
Other than winning tomorrow and probably the series, any other predictions as to what we can see?
Well, Giordano is going to start the next game, and I think he was a little tense, a little tight in that first game coming out. Gave up the 3 runs before the rain delay. I think he will be a little more settled. I think his nerves are a little bit more under control, as well as just his overall development and maturation as a starting pitcher. I think that if he can give us 6 or 7 innings tomorrow, and we either turn it over to the bullpen with a lead or keep it close, I like the Royals' chances tomorrow.
And you shared with me earlier some history about some of the core players of the Royals. What is that, and how's that equating to some success today?
And, last year everybody knows about the famous run in 2014, but a lot of folks don't know that in 2011, Hosmer, Lorenzo Cain, Danny Duffy, Kelvin Herrera, the core nucleus of this team won a Pacific Coast League championship as Omaha Storm Chasers. And that experience, gelling them together, giving them a chance to be successful as a unit, has carried forward. And it was just a matter of time before this team started to put it together at the big leagues. And now we're seeing, last year was the first sign that they could do it in the postseason. And like I said, if we can get through tomorrow and get out of Houston and get back to Kansas City and get through this series, this was going to be the tough series for us. Once we got past Houston, I'm not really worried about the Rangers or the Blue Jays. It looks like it might be the Rangers for this over with. But I knew Houston was going to give us some problems just on the matchups. And I think that if we can steal one tomorrow and then get back to Kansas City where the guys are a little more comfortable, then we'll win this series and we'll continue on down the path towards the World Series.
And of course, what other factors do you see contributing to the Royals' success in the short term as well as the long term? Do you think we'll be in the postseason again next year?
Well, it depends on, Dayton Moore has done a fantastic job to this point. You have to trust that he's going to make the good moves. I know a lot of folks are a little bit disappointed with the Johnny Cueto trade at this point, and for good reason. The numbers haven't been there for Johnny, but I think you still had to do it. You have to take that shot when you've got this many good players on one team that are going to price themselves out of our market eventually. Locking up Hosmer, Moustakas, Cain, those guys for the future is going to be very important, which means we'll be limited in free agency because these guys are all coming due on arbitration, and they're going to get a raise. And I believe that Alex Gordon is a free agent next year, so we're not sure if he'll be back. I would like to see him sign a long-term deal, but you're going to really have to start making some choices between those 4 or 5 core guys. We got Morales for another year. I'm glad we don't have Rios next year. I've been very disappointed in his play. And every time he comes up with a man on, I have no confidence whatsoever that he's going to deliver. So I'll look forward to getting an upgrade at his position next year. But overall, I think you just got to trust that Dayton's going to continue to do what he's done to get us here and pull the right strings and make the right moves and invest some money, what little money that market our size has, into the right players so that we can continue the success. Because obviously, if the Royals are successful, the fans will support them. They've shown that. We had more season visitors this year than we've ever had in the history of the Royals, and I look for that to continue, that kind of support to continue as long as the product on the field remains good.
Speaking of moves and choices, Lauren and I were talking earlier about the hashtag last year, hashtag Yoasted. Ned Yost, is he better this year? Is he making better choices? Could he hurt us again?
And it's funny because I just came back from the Pacific Northwest and I happened to run into a couple Milwaukee fans, and they were saying that they were rooting for the Royals since the Brewers were out of it because we had so much Brewer flavor on our team with Escobar and Kane and Ned Yost. And they made the comment that they were glad to get rid of Ned Yost and to send him to Kansas City. And I said, hey, we're glad to have him. I think he's done a good job. It's hard. You can go by the book all you want, and you can say that if this matchup is this, then I need to make this move. But in the end, a lot of this time, it's feel. It's more of an art and a craft than it is a science. And sometimes you do well and you make the right moves and you're a hero. And sometimes you make a move that you think is going to be successful and it ends up not working out, and then you're the GOAT. And, that's just the life of being a major league manager. But overall, I think that Ned Yost has done a good job, and I continue to support him until he gives me serious cause not to. Now, last year, if you'd asked me the inning after he brought in Giordano in the 6th inning in that wild card game, I probably would have been joining those saying they got Yosted. But since that move, I really can't complain with too much of what he's done because it's been successful. 95 wins in the regular season. And then, like I said, we'll come out, play hard tomorrow, pick up a win, get back to Kansas City, and see what happens.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for your time, Senator, and I'm sorry that this is the Kansas City climate you came back to, 2 losses today for the city. But I thank you for your time, and I look forward to more hashtag MoLeg postseason correspondence from you.
I'm glad to do it. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thanks again for joining me, Senator. The Royals and Cardinals will both be playing Monday. Be sure to tune in and support your Missouri teams. You can continue to follow the hashtag MoLeg postseason commentary at MissouriTimes.com. Thanks for watching, and go Royals!